Imagine a fence that catches the first light like jewelry, a route that floats your favorite succulents as if the wall learned to breathe, and stepping stones that remember the moon with a soft afterglow. Imagine the scraps you nearly threw away, plates, branches, a knotted piece of wood, quietly returning as the most beautiful part of your tiny yard. In the next few minutes, you'll see pieces that lift off to clean, edges that feel soft to the touch, and lights that turn twilight into a ritual. Keep watching. The magic lives in the details. Welcome to Archon Aesthetic Studio, where small spaces learn big beauty. If you love upcycled, magical garden ideas that look designer but stay DIY friendly, you're in the right place. We drop new episodes every week in this series. If today's ideas speak your language, subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing this garden family grow across cities and seasons. One, removable mosaic fence crown. At the edge of a humble backyard, where morning light first touches wood, a quiet shimmer runs across the fence. What once was broken, a plate from last year's dinner, a cup cracked in washing, has returned as a ribbon of light. Each shard rests in rhythm, blues beside gold, ivory beside rose, catching the sun like fragments of memory. This is the removable mosaic crown, a handmade rail that sits gently on the fence, ready to lift off when seasons change. It doesn't shout, it sings in small reflections. When rain falls, droplets race along the ceramic, tracing forgotten meals and shared laughter embedded in the glaze. To stand beneath it is to feel how imperfection finds its purpose again. The garden seems taller, proud of its scars turned into art. Even the breeze seems to slow, curious of the colors it carries. When twilight arrives, the shards hold the last glow of day, a soft farewell that lingers. And as you step back, you'll see how a simple fence became a storyteller, crowned with the beauty of what once was broken. The next idea carries that same spirit of transformation, only this time, it rests upon roots. Two, root-based table with lift-off mosaic disc. In a quiet corner where ivy curls across old stone, a root once buried deep now holds the light of day. It rises not by force, but by memory, its curves carved by years of rain and silence. Upon it rests a circle of color, a mosaic of broken plates arranged in gentle spirals, a sun captured in ceramic. This root-based table asks for no perfection. It invites you to notice the twist of grain, the hollow that holds a shadow, the way each shard catches a fragment of sky. The top lifts easily, like a breath, ready to be cleaned or carried indoors when seasons turn. It is beauty built with patience, designed to move, to endure. When you set a cup of tea upon it, the surface hums faintly with warmth. Morning light turns the mosaic into a compass, each shard pointing to something once loved, a dinner shared, a story remembered. Beneath, the root stands still, both sculpture and foundation. It reminds us that the earth keeps giving shape long after we stop asking. What was fallen becomes furniture. What was discarded becomes a stage for small rituals. And beyond that table, another idea takes root, a shelf that seems to float in air. 3. Floating root shelf. There's a wall where sunlight moves slowly, tracing patterns of leaf and shadow. On that wall floats something that once lived underground, a root, weathered and curved by time, now lifted to the air. It carries 3 small pots of green, each one reaching toward light as if remembering the forest it came from. This is the floating root shelf, held invisibly by a hidden cleat, a secret of balance and simplicity. There are no brackets to see, no nails to distract, only the quiet illusion that nature learned to levitate. The wood story is written in its grain, every swirl a season, every knot a storm survived. In the stillness of afternoon, light brushes along the succulents, and the shelf casts a delicate shadow shaped like wings. It's a sculpture and a memory, earth reborn as air. You don't measure it, you feel it. For a moment, your garden forgets its corners. The wall breathes, the plants seem lighter, and even silence finds a place to rest. And just beyond that floating form, when evening comes, another glow begins to gather, a branch that hums softly with light. Four, branch lamp rail. When twilight folds over the garden, a single branch awakens, not to leaf or bloom, but to light. Its curves remember the wind, its bark still carries the whisper of rain, and yet now it glows softly with life once more. Hung with low-voltage bulbs, each jar becomes a small lantern, a memory of fireflies that once wandered through the dusk. This is the branch lamp rail, a meeting of nature and light. The glow it gives is not harsh or loud. It's a hush, a warm breath across the evening. The branch stretches above a bench or table, turning every shadow into art, every pause into peace. You won't find symmetry here, only rhythm. The bulbs hang at uneven lengths, like stars choosing where to rest. At night, their amber shimmer paints the wood in gold, and the whole garden exhales in quiet satisfaction. There's no electricity to fear, only a gentle 12 volts of safety, a promise that even in darkness, beauty can be kind. And when morning returns, the branch remains, patient and proud, its form enough to please the daylight too. Beyond the light, a path now curves, each step a shimmer underfoot, a story told in broken glass and earth. Five, spiral mosaic stepping stones. There's a rhythm that only gardens know, the quiet pattern of footsteps finding their way home. Beneath the herbs and blooms, spiral mosaic stepping stones tell that story one circle at a time. Each stone holds a universe of color, fragments of broken dishes, bits of glass that once knew water and laughter, now reborn in pattern and purpose. When morning light strikes, they shimmer softly, guiding the path like a melody written on the earth. As dusk falls, tiny glow pebbles wake, their faint light tracing where the day once walked. It's not brightness they bring, but memory, a gentle echo of warmth that lingers even after sunset. Each spiral draws the eye inward, reminding you that beauty isn't a straight line. It curves, pauses, and continues. Every shard laid in mortar becomes a whisper of intention, each one saying, "Walk slower." The sound of gravel underfoot turns meditative, every step a reminder that peace is found not at the destination, but along the curve. Rain deepens the colors, time softens the edges, and with each season the mosaics settle deeper into the soil, as if nature itself approves of the arrangement. Follow this path, and it leads not just through your garden, but toward the quiet truth that broken things, when arranged with care, can still light the way. And at the end of that path, a softer edge awaits, a border reborn from fragments and kindness. Six, soft edge plate border. Along the quiet line where flowers meet soil, color rises from the earth. Shards of porcelain, once forgotten in drawers or dust, now form a gentle curve around the garden's edge. Each piece stands like a fragment of a story, tea shared, laughter spilled, moments long gone. But this border holds more than memory. Along its rim, a clear bead of cork runs like a line of light, softening what once was sharp. Under your fingertips, it feels smooth, safe, no danger, no harshness, just the calm finish of care. In the sun, it gleams slightly, like dew resting on the edge of a leaf. This soft edge plate border doesn't try to be perfect. It's a conversation between beauty and practicality, between color and kindness. The shards catch light, the ceiling line catches meaning. Together they remind you that gentleness can be part of design, that art doesn't always need to shout, sometimes it simply protects. As evening settles, shadows pool behind the plates, and the edge glows softly in return, a quiet halo for your blooms. And just beyond that border, a new rhythm begins, a path that curves and dances, marked by shards that shimmer beneath your steps. Seven, wavy path ribbon. There are lines in nature that never stay straight. The breeze, the river, the way light travels through leaves. The wavy path ribbon borrows that same language, tracing a gentle rhythm across the ground. Made from broken plates set in the soft crest of a sine wave, it moves like thought, like music translated into earth. Each curve seems to breathe, guiding your steps without commanding them. The shards gleam softly underfoot, pastel blues, muted greens, flecks of ivory, echoing the calm pulse of a morning stream. Walk along it and the garden feels alive, as if it hums beneath you. The wave catches sunlight differently with every turn, bending it, scattering it, offering a small surprise with every pace. When dusk arrives, even the faintest glow from the horizon glides along its curves, a slow dance of shadow and glimmer. This path doesn't lead quickly anywhere. It invites you to wander, to notice how time brushes your ankles, how air smells of mint and damp soil. It reminds you that movement can be soft, that direction doesn't need to be straight to be true. By nightfall, the wave becomes a signature of calm, a heartbeat made of color and patience. And beside this flowing path, another structure rises, simple sticks, standing side by side, forming a living fence that breathes with the wind. Eight, portable stick divider. There's a beauty in things that stand quietly together. Branches that once fell from the same wind now rising side by side again. The portable stick divider is not built to separate but to frame, a rhythm of vertical lines that defines space without closing it. Each stick carries its own story, some smooth, some scarred, some curling with age, and yet together they form harmony. Their base, cut from old decking wood, holds them firm but lets them move when the garden changes. The rubber feet lift them slightly from the ground, a small detail that saves them from moisture, a quiet act of longevity. As the sun moves, the divider writes shadows across the soil, soft stripes that shift with every hour. Behind it, herbs lean curiously, vines weave through, light slips between. It's not a wall, it's a whisper. A way to say, this side and that side, without ever meaning apart. And when the season turns, it lifts easily, a structure meant to travel, to reshape your space as your heart does. It reminds us that boundaries can be gentle, that design can move like thought, light, flexible, alive. By night, the sticks fade into silhouette, a living rhythm still standing, waiting for the next dawn. And beyond that line, the garden greets a new threshold, a gate of branches and shards, where entry becomes art. Nine, Constellation Gate. Every garden has a beginning, a threshold between the world you leave and the one you tend. The Constellation Gate stands at that threshold, not grand but meaningful, a meeting of earth and sky rendered in humble fragments. Branches, once discarded, arc naturally across a matte frame, their lines guided not by measurement but by instinct. Between them, small shards of ceramic shimmer faintly, forming constellations you might recognize or perhaps invent. Each one catches light differently, white for morning, silver for dusk, gold when the day bends toward evening. It isn't a gate that keeps things out, it invites you in. Its latch clicks softly, like a heartbeat pausing before entry. The matte black frame swallows glare so the mosaics may glow freely, like stars over calm water. And when the breeze moves through, the sound it makes is close to music, the murmur of leaves remembering their shape. As you pass through, the world behind softens, the scent of soil deepens, and the path ahead seems touched by intention. This is how thresholds should feel, not a boundary, but a breath. And when the gate closes, it does so gently, as if sealing a promise that what's broken can still shine, if given the right place to rest. Beyond that gate, twilight falls softly on wood and glass, and a new light begins to glow among the branches. Ten, branch wall sculpture plus clay microplanters plus bell. Sometimes art doesn't hang in galleries, it grows quietly on garden walls. The branch wall sculpture begins not with symmetry but with rhythm. Twisted branches, gathered from the ground after rain, find new direction as they arc across a fence or stucco face. They're not cut to match, they're placed to converse, curving and meeting like sentences of the same poem. Between those lines, small clay planters cling like notes in a melody, each holding a tiny life, succulents, trailing ivy, or herbs that spill over their edges. And from one branch hangs a single bell, light as a breath, ringing only when the wind remembers its tune. The sculpture changes with the hours. Morning light turns it into silhouette, afternoon sun reveals its color, and dusk gives it back to shadow. It's a piece that never stops becoming, weathered by time, softened by moss, deepened by memory. To stand before it is to feel how simplicity and silence can fill a space. It's not decoration, it's punctuation, marking the pause between what grows and what stands still. And as the bell moves gently, its chime lingers for a heartbeat, echoing through branches, leaves, and thought. Beyond that sound, another pattern emerges, where light itself is shaped, and roots begin to glow from above. (11) Root arc pendant with dual glow. At twilight, when the garden holds its breath between day and night, the root arc pendant awakens. Its curves, once buried in soil, now cradle light instead of earth. Two tones, two moods. One glows warm and golden, wrapping the space in quiet comfort. The other flickers like wandering fireflies, soft and alive, never quite still. This piece is not wired for brilliance, it's made for presence. The root's natural arch carries both light and memory, its grooves tracing where rain once ran and time once rested. Hung above a bench or small table, it casts circles of amber on leaves, a pattern that feels almost like heartbeat. The firefly mode hums faintly, delicate and slow, giving motion to the still air. Together, the two lights form dialogue, warmth meeting wonder, steadiness meeting spark. The result is not illumination, it's atmosphere. Every evening, it transforms the garden into something gentler. Shadows soften, words slow, and the night seems less about endings and more about quiet continuation. It reminds you that light doesn't have to dazzle to matter. Sometimes it just needs to linger. And when dawn comes, the bulbs rest again within the wood's embrace, proof that even roots can learn to hold the sky. Beyond that arch of glow, a smaller story waits, a table that swaps its skin when the season turns. (12) Mosaic tray insert for old bistro table. At the center of the garden, where morning tea meets the first breeze, an old bistro table finds new purpose. Its surface, once worn by time, now holds a mosaic tray that slips neatly into place, a sunburst of broken color reborn. Each shard tells a quiet tale, a chipped saucer, a lost plate, a memory made tangible again. Pressed into a circular tray, sealed and smooth, it catches sunlight like water, scattering brightness across the metal frame. The drop-in mosaic insert isn't just decoration, it's transformation made simple. Lift it out for cleaning, bring it in when it rains, or switch it when seasons change. The frame stays, the story evolves. The pattern you choose becomes a reflection of your rhythm, spiral, wave, or petal bloom. Beneath your cup, the pieces hum softly with warmth, reminding you that restoration isn't repair, it's reinvention. And when the afternoon deepens, the light fades through glass shards that glow for a final moment before night arrives. The table doesn't claim attention, it offers invitation. Sit here long enough, and you'll realize this isn't furniture, it's a memory platform, a place where past and present share tea in peace. And as the last glint fades from the mosaic, another centerpiece gleams nearby, a sunburst crafted not from plates, but from bottles reborn into light. (13) Bottle Shard Sunburst Medallion. When sunlight meets glass, it forgets its shape. The Bottle Shard Sunburst Medallion captures that moment, the instant when ordinary light turns to art. Made from pieces of broken bottles, curved and uneven. Each shard becomes a beam in a circle of color. Green like moss, amber like late afternoon, blue like breath before dusk. The rope frame holds them close, simple yet strong, a halo of texture that softens the glow. Hung against a wall or tree, it turns passing sunlight into moving color, scattering warmth across the garden like a painter's sigh. When the breeze shifts, it trembles slightly, and the reflected hues dance across leaves and wood, alive, fleeting, content to exist only for that moment. It isn't grand, but it feels celestial, born from the ground, yet touched by the sky. To make it is to give light a second chance, to remind yourself that even fragments can radiate. By night, a candle placed behind it hums through the glass, turning the medallion into a quiet moon of your own making. It's a symbol of renewal, a lens for beauty, and a small act of defiance against waste. Because sometimes the most luminous things aren't new. They're the ones that have already lived, cracked, and learned how to shine again. And as the garden rests beneath its glow, you realize the story of trash was never about what's broken. It's about what still reflects light. "14. Wine bottle fence crown. Along the edge where garden meets sky, light finds a new path to travel. The wine bottle fence crown captures that journey, an unexpected horizon made of glass and ceramic, where sunlight lingers before it leaves. Old bottles, once emptied and forgotten, now stand shoulder to shoulder, their necks glinting like tiny lanterns. Below them, a ridge of mosaic tiles reflects the glow, turning each fence line into a band of quiet fire. Green, amber, and pale blue glass play together, refracting the afternoon sun into scattered gems that shift with every breeze. It's not just a border, it's a celebration. A line drawn not to divide, but to adorn, to remind that boundaries can also be beautiful. The ceramic ridge beneath the bottles gives structure, catching raindrops that fall like slow music along its edge. At dusk, the last light passes through the glass, leaving ribbons of color along the fence's shadow. By morning, dew gathers on the bottle lips like pearls, waiting for the day's first spark. To make this is to let light and matter collaborate, to give discarded things a final purpose worthy of their clarity. Because even at the top of a wall, beauty can bloom. And as the fence glows quietly, another form of light begins to stir, a lantern shaped not by fire, but by memory and motion. "15. Lantern of Roots. At dusk, when the garden exhales its final warmth, the lantern of roots begins to breathe. Its frame, a tangle of wood once hidden underground, now cradles small jars of light, each one a captured ember, each one a memory of sun. The roots twist naturally, no symmetry forced, no polish applied. Their knots become architecture, their curves become story. Between them, the jars glow softly, light spilling through gaps like whispers between trees. It's not brightness you notice first, it's depth. The shadows stretch like lace, weaving across stone and soil, transforming the garden into a living painting. This lantern isn't just made, it's found. You discover it in what remains after the storm, in wood that still remembers water. The glow inside reminds you that even hollow things can hold warmth, that beauty often lives where you stopped expecting it. Line a few along your path, and they'll seem to hum together, low, golden, patient. each one carrying its own small pulse, like a heartbeat you can walk beside. By night's end, when the last flame fades to embers, the roots remain, dark against the sky, still beautiful without their light. Because the true glow of a garden isn't what it shows, it's what it keeps, quietly, in the spaces between. And so ends the circle. Light from the ground, stories from the broken, and peace made by hand. If a corner of your yard is already whispering for a crown, start there. I've linked our borders and bottle gold playlists at the end to keep the ideas flowing. If you want the safety and ceiling checklist, comment safety and I'll pin it for you. If this gave you a little wonder today, tap subscribe and I'll bring more next week. Until then, may your scraps find their story.